a very good question. Briefly, that's a question for her.
Okay.
Because I don't know,
And what this does is it reserves.
Ms. Hill, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ard? Mr. Ard, are you on the line? I guess that's a no. All righty.
He was having trouble earlier, and
Okay. We'll start the review of the meeting. Let's see. Number one, approval of minutes for August 2020. Any questions?
wait a minute. Monthly bills?
What did I say? I'm sorry, monthly bills.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm sitting there going, I gave you the wrong agenda.
Guess no questions. Weed abatements.
Discombobulated.
Can I take those all, unless someone has a question for a particular one? You okay with that, Bill?
I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Hill, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we will move to public hearings, Resolution 2196, authorize abatement of unsafe conditions located at 1405 15th Avenue Southeast. Mr. Lee, any changes?
No changes.
Any questions? Okay, Resolution 2197, authorize abatement of unsafe conditions located at 2017 Morgan Avenue. Mr. Lee,
No changes.
any questions? Ordinance number 204420, rezoning request 56-20, approve a tract of land approximately 1.46 acres, more or less, located on the west side of Highway 31 South from R1 to B2. Matt?
Yes, ma'am. It's for Edgar and Catherine Engberg.
Okay,
Like it's 4109 Highway 31 South, and like you said, it's R1 to B2. And the planning department recommends.
any questions? What was that address again?
4109 Highway 31 South.
No questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Ordinance 204422, rezoning request 1360-20, approve a tract of land approximately 75.23 acres, more or less, located at south of Bibb Garrett Road and west of I-65 from AG2 to M1. Matt?
Yes, ma'am. Just what you said, 75 acres is the additional 75 acres of what was already done I believe it was last year. It was 25 acres. And like you said, it's the Peebles, and once again, the planning department recommends.
And this will be the same as the 25 acres M1, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Vivi, is that not the one that was asked to be tabled?
Actually, I was called by the same gentleman that asked me to put it back on.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah. He called me too, the double.
It was like a yo-yo. We haven't done that. Yeah. Ordinance number 204423, pre-zoning request 136120, approved pre-zoning a tract of land containing 1.6 acres, more or less, and is located east of Beltline Road Southwest and south of Highway 20 to M1A.
Yes, ma'am. And this is for racetrack petroleum. Like you said, Highway 20 south at the Beltline Road, they want to pre-zone to M1A prior to annexation. And some of this had to do with the way the seller wanted to handle some business, but we are for this because if it is pre-zoned, they have 180 days to act. They could do their contract, and it'll all smooth out from everything I understand from Herman.
Matt, on that one,
Yes.
what is the station up there currently zoned?
What did it say one more time? What is the what?
The raceway station itself, what is it currently zoned?
It doesn't exist yet.
That's right. That's right. The raceway is M1A, but this little piece isn't annexed yet, so it doesn't have anything yet. They eventually want to use it at the bottom portion of raceway to allow for, I believe, truck fueling.
Okay,
And so they wanted to make sure to get the M1A zone before it was bought, sold, or annexed.
you may not have understood my question, but you have answered it.
Oh, good.
Maybe I didn't ask it well.
Herman,
Thank
my
you.
concern is pre-zoning without the annexation. I know in the past year or so, we've done that with a contingency of both at the same time.
Well, there's a new provision allows, if does not annex within 6 months, then this zoning is void.
Okay, so it does, okay,
So it goes away.
That's right.
perfect. Any questions? Resolution 2241, approve MUB expenditure of $773,206 for WWTP Parkinson headwork screen replacement. Steve, are you going to do that tonight, or? Okay. Anybody online from DU?
Not many changes from last week.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, yes, sir.
Okay, I was just checking, no questions.
Okay. Resolution 2242, declare Transcend Tactical a sole source provider for a robot for the police department. Chief? Or Captain?
No changes, Mike.
Any questions from council? Resolution 2243, award bid number 20022 for small stream litter, debris, and trash collection device and related services to Offspring Initiative LLC. Mr. Booth?
There's no changes on that.
Any questions from council? Okay. Resolution 2244, award bid number 20-021 for, but yes, there you go. Plant Mix to Reed Contracting. This is for asphalt, right?
Yes, ma'am, they're where they, it's actually installed, and it has some other street, like striping and, different, as if they're gonna install a permanent road, so it's,
This is one of
there's no changes on that.
our yearly contracts, or 3-year contracts. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it's an annual bid, or the standing bid that, expired, and we had to redo it.
Any questions from council? Thank you, Charles. Resolution 2245, award bid number 20-020 to replace the roof on the library to Alabama Roofing and Sheet Metal Company. Charles?
Yes, no changes on that.
Any questions?
Questions?
Any questions from council? Did we get a turnaround time on that, Charles?
No, ma'am, but what I understand, they should be able to get on it pretty quick, and, I'm not sure how long it'll take them to finish, but
Okay, thank you.
It's been leaking for 2 years. They'll be happy to have it fixed.
Resolution 2246, appropriate 25% of the simplified seller's use tax to the Decatur City School System.
No change.
Any questions from council? Resolution 2247, Crossings Fund Tax Collection Designation Expiration. John?
No change.
Any questions, council? Okay. Resolution 2248, approve Decatur Historic Preservation Commission policies. Caroline was here. Caroline, are you on the line?
Is Alan.
Alan? Is Caroline coming for that, or the,
Yeah, I worked with Caroline on this. It's just some updated policies and procedures for the Historic Preservation Commission. We just ask that you approve those.
so no changes?
No changes.
Alan, wasn't that relative to the ability to do additional work to get grants?
It's mainly in, just, these policies have not been updated for 15, 20 years.
So there were certain buildings that didn't qualify for applications, the way I understood it.
Yes, but mainly this is just the operations of the Historic Preservation Commission. This went to them for their approval, and they are requesting that you approve these new policies and procedures.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Resolution 2249, accept sale of 2009 Pierce aerial ladder truck to Danville Volunteer Fire Department. Becky?
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 20.
Hey, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Becky, when we sell something like that, does the money go back to general fund, or does it go back within the department where that asset came from?
It goes back to the general fund unless it's specified otherwise.
Okay, thank you.
Resolution 2250, approve engineering budget amendment for street resurfacing. Carl?
Yes, this is, I guess, asking for funding for, 8th Street paving from 7th to 14th, and Regency from 13th Point Drive, and the Central Parkway Service Road to be funded, undesignated fund balance.
All right, council, I believe this is the paving we looked at for December, to look at once all the revenues come in and to address it then.
No, these are in the budget.
Okay, we've already paid for these in the budget.
No, these are in the 21 budget.
Okay, so Carl, did you get that?
So there's no reason to address these.
Perfect. So
I didn't know.
these are already addressed in the 21 budget.
Correct.
Okay, so we are going to take this off because we've already addressed them, okay?
Very good.
Okay,
You're
thank
taking
you.
20-250 off?
Yes, J will be removed. Thank you, Carl. Resolution 2251, request room in the Old State Bank to be named after Mark and Gay Maloney. Judge?
Council, no changes, just a quick explanation. Mark is the immediate past president of Rotary International, and Gay is the immediate past first lady of Rotary. So that's why we're having it.
Any questions from council? Thank you, Judge. Resolution 2252, remaining funds of the SOA Fields Bathroom Building to be used for irrigations, building renovations. Jason? Any question? Thank you, Jason. Resolution 2253, approve short-term stay site plan at Point Mallard Campground. Stephanie, any changes? Any questions from council? Resolution 2254, approval of rate increase regarding the Point Mallard Golf Course. Stephanie? No changes. Council?
Not now, but I'll have some for both later.
Okay. Resolution 2255, approval of a rate increase for Point Mallard Campground. Stephanie? No changes. Any questions from council? Resolution 2257, approve purchase of 3 Tahoes for the fire department in the amount of $105,075 from the state contract. John?
Could be,
Yes, chief.
no, ma'am, there's no changes to that also.
Okay, any questions from council? Resolution 2258, approve purchase of 1 Pac Mac loader truck in the amount of $151,628.77. Ricky?
Yes, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
There's no changes, except you'll see the second Pac Mac loader truck down at item 20-262. The previous one, 258, 259, 260 were on last time. The only change would be, we finally added the item 20-262 to the agenda tonight.
Thank you, sir.
We didn't have it on there the last time.
Okay. So 2258 will be funded by the alley money,
Yes.
That's correct.
and then the 262 will be funded by the unassigned fund balance.
59,
That's
60, and 62.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other 3.
The other 3 are general fund unassigned balance.
Gotcha. Does council have a question about any of these, 2258, 2259, 2260, or 2262? Council? Okay. Thank you, Ricky. Resolution 2263, appoint Brandon Watkins of Decatur as Decatur Youth Service Director. Guess personnel's not there. Anything from legal?
Well, Shannon's not here, but that's an agreed upon. Y'all selected him, this is to appoint him officially.
What's his start date?
Believe it's,
Well, it's,
This is Rochelle, I'm
Oh,
actually
hey.
on the call. His
Hey,
start
Rochelle.
date is, starting the pay period 9/21.
right.
Rochelle, let me ask you a question. His start date is 9/21, but when, correct me if I'm wrong, when we started our discussion regarding Tracy Thornton, his start date was going to, well, actually, we were going to do him, we were going to approve him tonight after being selected as fire chief, and his start date was going to be, was it not immediately?
They're both on 9/21. We didn't finish up Tracy's information until today, and he would like his family and friends to be present, so he will be on the 9/21 agenda.
I understand that, but initially, did we not say that we were going to start his employment immediately, following today's vote?
Basically, we had originally held this plan in about 9/7, but that's a holiday, so we agreed that 9/21 would be his start date.
Okay, but on Tracy, we had, I'm confused because we were trying to start Brandon at the beginning of a pay period, and we were going to start Tracy at an earlier time. So again, I'm trying to figure out what the difference was.
I don't recall any discussion about starting Tracy at an earlier time. If I missed that, I apologize. But we typically have start dates for the start of a pay period. And because we didn't finish up with Tracy until this morning, we decided that 9/21 will be a better effective date.
Okay, if you don't recall a start date, that's fine. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Rochelle. Ordinance, first reading, ordinance number 204424, authorize the insurance of a $5 million revolving line of credit for the Municipal Utilities Board. Steve?
No change, this being a first reading, do I need to address it at the council tonight? Sometimes
Unless
I
someone has a
just-
question. Christie and Chuck, are you good with addressing it next time?
Yeah, next week's fine, next time's fine.
Okay. Chuck?
Yes, I'm fine with that.
All right.
Thanks, Steve. Ordinance number 204425 declares surplus and sale of 208 Church Street Northwest.
No changes.
Thank you, Suzanne. Any questions? Okay, and then we're adding the vote for the appropriations this evening at the end.
And we're going to go through those individually, correct?
We are going to go through those individually. Anything else from council?
No.
Okay, thank you. We will start at 6 o'clock. Yes,
I
sir.
got it rolled up.
Sure.
The lady, remember we took off John Plunk's rezoning with Mr. Jackson and his community. There's two of them. What I'd like to ask you to do is to just have a special council meeting the 14th, just 5 minutes beforehand, so you can set both of those for October the 19th, which will give us adequate time to get them published in the newspaper, and then you can have your hearing.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I would just like the rezoning, that the R4 to precede the R3. I would like that, I'd like them in that order, if that's okay.
That's the intent, so we'll know that one.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank y'all for listening.
All right, well, we're here then, Stacy, on the September 14th. What times are available for council to meet?
Well, you already have on the 14th at 5 o'clock.
Okay, that's a work
So
session.
if you guys came in and
4:45, is that okay with everyone?
I'm good with that.
What date again?
14th, Monday.
Ms. Hill, Mr. Ard?
That's fine with me.
Okay, Ms. Hill? Ms. Hill? She may have us on mute right now. We may have a crying baby, I assume. That all? huh?
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, okay. 4:45 on September 14th, okay?
September 14th?
Yes, we have a 5 o'clock work session. Can you be there at 4:45? Okay, very good. Thank you. We'll start at 6. Thank you.
Done. Have a,
Call to order. Pastor Terry Horn from First Church of the Nazarene will be saying our invocation this evening, and I'll finish up with our pledge. Thank you, sir.
Shall we pray together? Heavenly Father, we love you and we thank you for all your blessings on us. And Lord, we pray that your blessing would be upon this meeting tonight and all those that are here. We pray that your love and your peace and your wisdom and your guidance and direction would reign supremely. Lord, we just want to have a great meeting tonight with all these wonderful folks. So Lord, have your way in everything that's said and done. And please bless our community in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Present.
Ard.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Kirby.
Here.
Agenda items will be acted upon if they meet guidelines necessary to perform essential minimum functions of the governmental body or a matter of necessity to respond to COVID-19. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Motion by Mr. Ard, a second by Mr. Jackson. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
5-0 to proceed forward. Approval of monthly bills. Approve August 2020 monthly bills. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Ard, a second by Mr. Jackson. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Abstain.
Approval of August 2020 monthly bills, been approved 4-0 with one abstention. Stacy, to your request, we're going to jump, council, if you don't mind. We're going to go to, what resolution is it? Do you see?
It is the very last one, 20.
There you go.
263.
We're going to jump to you, council, resolution number 2263. Appoint Brandon Watkins as Director of Youth Services.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jackson and a second by Mr. Kirby. Any questions or comment?
I'd just like to welcome Mr. Watkins on board. I think that you are absolutely a perfect choice for this position. You know, you worked with our city for so many years now. You've worked with other agencies outside of our city with basically doing the same thing. So I welcome you on board. You're needed now. Our city needs you, and so we're just asking that you hit the ground running and make our city a better place through youth services. Thank you.
Any other comments? Ms. Hill, Mr. Ard? Well, then I'll follow up.
No, but welcome.
Brandon, it's great to have you on board. It's a wonderful thing to see your family here. That's one thing about you that I love, and I think you're going to carry that into your job, and I think that it's going to be a fundamental foundation for making you succeed at that job. So thank you all for what you give your father and your husband. Without y'all, he could not be the man he is, so thank you. So on top of that, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2263 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Welcome to the family. All righty. We'll go back to weed abatements on page 1, please. Do you mind if we take these all as one? Is that okay?
I don't have a problem.
Ms. Hill, Mr. Jackson?
That'll be fine, thank you.
Mr. Kirby, I'm sorry. Okay. Resolution 2234, assess $285 against 1405 15th Avenue Southeast for cost of abatement of nuisance. Resolution 2235, assess $285 against 810 18th and a half Avenue Southeast for cost of abatement of nuisance. Resolution 2236, assess $285 against 1815 19th Avenue Southeast for cost of abatement of nuisance. Resolution 2237, assess $285 against 1810 White Street Southeast for cost of abatement of nuisance. Resolution 2238, assess $350 against 1808 White Street Southeast for cost of abatement of nuisance. Resolution 2239, assess $285 against 917 Clearview Street Southwest for cost of abatement of nuisance. Resolution 2240, assess $285 against 2406 Montclair Street Southwest for cost of abatement of nuisance. Do I have a
I move to take all 7 of those together.
motion by Mr. Kirby? Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
No.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Do I need to read each of those resolutions to make it, okay. All 7 of those resolutions for weed
Got it.
abatements were passed with a vote of 4 to 1. Public hearings for this evening. Tell you what, get them to, it's a little loud out there, but we'll go ahead. Resolution 2196, authorize of abatement of unsafe conditions located at 1405 15th Avenue Southeast. Public hearing set on 8/3/20. Mr. Lee.
Yes, ma'am. This property was declared unsafe in February of this year. No permits have been issued, no progress has been made. It's obviously a public nuisance. We've been contacted by several neighbors about this that were upset about it. And the owner of the property, we understand, is in the Morgan County Jail with no bond. And so it doesn't appear that there's anyone that can do anything with it, or we've made all the notifications and then some that we're required by law to make. So we'd ask the council to let us move forward with the demolition.
This being the time and place of a public hearing, if anyone from the public would like to speak on Resolution 2196, you may speak now. No one from the public wanting to speak on this issue, we will declare it closed, and I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Jackson beat you by just a hair, Christie. Motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Jackson. Discussion.
One question, David. When there's a person like this in the jail, does that person get a notification about this hearing?
Absolutely. We knew where he was located, and we talked to the jail staff and sent him one over there with the promise that it would be hand-delivered to him. Yes.
So if he chose to try to appear to this hearing, would accommodations have been met to accommodate that?
I would assume that he could have a representative here, if not himself, and...
You've heard nothing?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2196 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Resolution number 2197, authorize abatement of unsafe conditions located at 2017 Morgan Avenue. Public hearing set on 8/3/20. Mr. Lee.
Yes, ma'am. This structure was condemned in February of 19. Our participation at that location was requested by the police department. They were there for some suspected drug activity. The owner did purchased permits to make repairs and made none, had no inspections. We have basically run out of, we issued a court summons and, with the court and COVID-19 and all of that, we've not gotten anywhere with that at this point, and it's a public nuisance. The owner's been notified. It's in deplorable condition, and we've made every notification and then some that we're required to make. And again, we would ask that the council let us move forward with the demolition. And there's a mortgage company, and they've been notified as well.
This being the time and place for a public hearing on Resolution 2197. If anyone from the public would like to speak on this matter, you may come now and speak. Thank you. Yes, sir. If you will state your name and address, please. Thank you.
So, Mark Mobies, I'm the owner. Address 1612 Wellington Court, Southeast Decatur.
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Building department has given me a lot of time to get this fixed. After the residents, we call them tenants, were removed, I did haul off 7,000 pounds of trash that they had collected in the home, and made repairs to the drywall. And when I got to the structural areas underneath, it was more extensive than I had expected. So I'm going to need more money. I was planning to do it myself, but it's beyond what I can do by myself. So keeping up the mortgage payments, I just need more time to save the money to hire a contractor. And I am attempting to sell it. I had a buyer, but closing fell through when everything was shut down back in it was 1st of April, I think. But if I have like 6 more months, I think I can get it taken care of.
Need to close the hearing. I will be closing the hearing at this point and will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ard. So, motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Ard. Discussion.
Mr. Lee, we heard that apparently that his only option, as he sees it now, is to sell it. Is it in sellable condition?
It is not something that we would want to see someone else become involved in, especially with us not knowing who would wind up with it. It's been 1.5 years. I think that's plenty of time. We've got another unit that we've processed down the street. Mr. Mobies is a really nice guy. We've worked with him extensively in the past, but he takes a long time, and this thing it's in poor condition. It's not something that, by his own admission, he's worked towards marketing it or selling it, had it sold to someone, and the closing fell through. And by the property maintenance code says that you can, if you sell an unsafe building, the purchaser has to accept your time periods given in the initial notice, and they've all run. So if he sells it to someone else, we're dealing with somebody that has no time available to him anyway.
Did I understand in your previous comments that this has been lingering since February of year 19?
Yes, sir. We've had, and he's right, it needs extensive repairs.
Let me, Mr. Mobies,
Mr. Mobies, come back a little bit. Thank you.
can I ask you why it's, I mean, I understood you say money's a factor, and I fully understand that. Was there no way to have completed this in a more timely fashion, manner?
Well, I work full-time rotating shift work, and that's basically it.
I guess you asked for 6 months. If this council granted you 6 months, what are we looking at? I mean, are you going to be able to complete it?
Right.
That's what we're trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I can't speak for anybody else.
So I have we have an outage coming up with that money and a bonus. I should have $20,000 come in the next 2 months that I can use towards that.
Will that won't come, $20,000 won't?
Now, in my opinion, it won't touch it. I've got photographs if y'all wanna look at them and see what we're up against, but termite damage and, my guess is that we'll be looking at this property being conveyed to someone else before this is over.
Well, I guess, just going on what you just said though, David, and I'm not advocating either way at this particular point, but even if it transferred to someone else, if you extended a 3-month grace period or a 6-month, whatever, that goes along with it as well, correct?
Well,
If the council did.
Technically, well,
Technically, you already passed his time frame. I understand that. I just, okay.
Mr. Mobius, what is your list that you know you're going to have to replace?
The subfloor, the flooring, the floor joists in one bedroom, sill on the back side of the house. That's the structural damage. I've got 4 more windows to replace, and the siding needs patched up, and some trim, and then the bathrooms need to be repaired.
Well, with the structural damage, you're going to have to employ someone who's, goes through the building department as a
Right.
contractor that's legally bound to do that. With the $20,000, do you think you're going to have enough funds to, I guess, cover all? This is a lot of things.
Thank you. Right.
And then you're going to have to get the professional help to do that. I think that's what I'm looking at. I don't know that your damages may be more than that you're going to have funds to take care of.
It's possible, but if I have to pay for the abatement and the empty lot, then that's
Sure,
going to
I
be
understand.
$100,000 I'm not going to have. I mean, I don't know how much you're charging to knock down a house, but
I'm not sure we got the $100,000.
No, it's not nearly that.
there's $55,000 on the mortgage.
4,500, 5,500 for this one, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, they're usually typically about that range. I did look at the house. The outside, I didn't go in, of course, but the outside's in pretty poor condition. There's some foundation work that I think may be an issue. And of course, then you will have to go through our building department to get everything. And I think that's what concerns me, the time frame, February of 19, but also it looks like you're going to have some money constraints to the actual damage, and that concerns me as well. I always hate to do these. I know these are unfortunate, but anything else from council?
I drove by and took a look at it as well, but I mean, this is even more, this is greater than I thought it was, even when I passed by and looked at it. But I just, I would love to give the opportunity to make the repairs, Mr. Booth, but I won't say but. It's difficult for me to do it, knowing the amount of time that we've already had with this and knowing the extent of work that's going to have to go in. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to support it. I'm sorry that I can't support it, though.
Can you pass the pictures down?
Sure, I'm sorry.
I know
I'm sorry.
I've seen it, but I wanted to at least look at those.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Hill, Mr. Ard?
Nothing further.
I think everything's been covered. I would love to give him some time, but given that since it's been February of 19, I can't see that that's going to happen.
Well, we do have pictures. I guess I could text them to your email if you'd like to see them. Mr. Curtis?
I would.
Stacy, can you send pictures or get IT to do that for them?
Yeah.
Mr. or Ms. Hill, would you like to wait on the vote until you see these pictures, or?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You can text them to my city cell phone. Thank you.
Herman, can we pause this ordinance right now, resolution, and go to the next come back, since Ms. Hill needs to see that?
Table this one and come back to it.
Okay, do I have a motion to table?
Go ahead.
Okay, do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a vote to table that. Stacy, roll call.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Okay, we have a 5-0 motion or vote to table this to the end of the
So this
meetings.
is just a delay of like 30 minutes or thereabouts.
Just so she can get those pictures and look at those. Christie, those are coming to you via your text. Ordinance number 2044.
Did you send those to me as well?
Yes, sir.
Did you ask Alan to do that?
Yes.
Perfect. Ordinance number 204420, rezoning request number 1356-20, approve a tract of land approximately 1.46 acres, more or less, located on the west side of Highway 31 South, from R1 to B2. Matt?
Yes, ma'am. This is for Edgar and Catherine Enberg at 4109 Highway 31 South. And like you mentioned, they want to rezone from R1 to B2 to have a frame shop. They also own the property next to it. That is their home. And this way they would like to be able to work from home. Essentially walk out the door and go to work.
This being the time and place of a public hearing, if anyone is here from the public that would like to speak on ordinance number 204420, you may speak now. No one from the public wanting to speak on this ordinance. We'll declare this ordinance closed, public hearing closed, and we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ard. Discussion. No discussion. I have a motion by Mr. Kirby and a second by Mr. Ard. Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Ordinance number 204420 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Ordinance number 204422, rezoning request 1360-20, approve a tract of land approximately 75.23 acres, more or less, located south of Bibb Garrett Road and west of I-65 from Ag 2 to M1. Matt?
Yes, ma'am. The applicant is P-Rock McAnally for the Peoples. They're wanting to rezone it for commercial use, and we recommend it as the planning department.
This being the time and place of a public hearing, if anyone from the public would like to speak on ordinance number 204422, you may speak now. No one from the public wanting to speak on this matter, we would declare this public hearing closed. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, second.
Second.
Okay, I'll give that to you, Ms. Hill.
Thank you.
We have a motion by Mr. Kirby and a second by Mrs. Hill. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Ordinance number 204422 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Ordinance number 204423, pre-zoning request 136120, approved pre-zoning a tract of land containing 1.7 acres, more or less, and is located east of Beltline Road Southwest and south of Highway 20 to M1A. Matt?
Yes, ma'am. The applicant is Racetrack Petroleum, Highway 20 South at Beltline Road. The request is to pre-zone to M1A prior to annexation. The proposed land use is to go along with the racetrack. It will be part of the convenience store and gas station. It has two conditions to be met: contingent on annexation into the city of Decatur in 180 days, contingent on sale and appropriate subdivision of the 1.67 acre parcel from a larger piece just to the south, and the planning department also recommends.
This being the time and place of a public hearing, if anyone would like to speak on ordinance number 204423, you may speak now. Thank you. Just your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Bert Boykin. My address is 2001 Park Place North, Birmingham, Alabama 35203. I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Racetrack Petroleum. And before you this evening is a pre-zoning application, as Mr. Marquis stated. It's for 1.67 acres. I have a copy of our application that the council would like to view it. Pass that along. If you'll turn with me to page 2. And I'll try to talk through this, I understand there's council members on the phone as well. But we're looking at a lot layout sketch, and the property being considered for pre-zoning is 1.67 acres, which is currently in Morgan County. The corporate limits of the city of Decatur is immediately adjacent and surrounds the existing raceway parcel that my client currently owns. The contract property is owned by Foster Properties, Inc., or LLC, and they have requested this sequence of events where we're not going to annex before we close on the property. So pre-zoning allows us to match the zoning of our parcel, which is adjacent, M1A, and then also adhere to the seller's request that we not annex ahead of, purchasing the property. So we've already filed our annexation application. As Mr. Marquis stated, the statute on pre-zoning requires that we annex within 180 days of that filing of the annexation application. That occurred on Friday of this past week. So basically, we hope that everything is self-explanatory in what we're trying to do. There will be replat and site plan approvals and things of that nature to follow after closing and annexation, but my client, contingent on the sale of the property, is fully prepared to do all that, and is excited to expand an existing business into the city of Decatur. I also have on the phone, I believe, Sami Ali from Racetrack, should any of you have any questions specific to the applicant that maybe I couldn't answer, but both of us are happy to provide any information we can.
Questions from council?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bert. All righty. We will declare this public hearing closed. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kirby with the motion, Mr. Jackson with the second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby?
Aye.
Ard?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Kirby?
Aye.
Ordinance number 24423 has been approved 5-0. Just checking in. Mr. Ard, Ms. Hill, have you reviewed the pictures or no?
They've been saying.
Was it emailed or text? 'Cause I just looked for
Emailed.
text and didn't have one.
It would
Email,
not
I'm
go
sorry,
through a
email.
text that size.
I'm text as well. Give me a second.
Okay, give us a minute.
I'm sorry, I probably said text. I thought that was what he was going to do.
It's too big a file.
Too big to text, sorry. Tell you what, we will proceed on and come back. Resolution 2241, approve MUB expenditure of $773,206 for WWTP Parkson Headwork Screen Replacement.
Ms. Bibby, Council, Tom Cleveland, Water Resources Manager for Decatur Utilities. This is a request to replace existing screens that were installed in 1994. They're 26 years old and beyond their useful life. What these screens do is they remove heavy solids and debris from entering the wastewater treatment plant influent pump station and keep that material from getting downstream into the other components of the plant. This project is in our FY20 budget, and we would ask for consideration to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Jackson. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Bibby?
Aye.
Ard?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Kirby?
Aye.
Resolution 2241 has been approved with a vote of 5-0. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Cleveland. Resolution 2242, declare Transcend Tactical a sole source provider for a robot for the police departments. All right, Kenny.
Chris Jones, Decatur Police. Thank you, Ms. Beebe and Council. We're asking the council to consider this and declare them a sole source provider to purchase this robot for use in the police department.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Jackson. Discussion.
Is this the only, I mean, of course it says sole source provider, but is this the only company that makes this?
It is the only company that makes the mechanism that the robot gets around, the ability to climb stairs, the ability to navigate around corners as such the design. He's the only robot out there that has that.
That is the biggest thing that I hear from the general public is sole source things makes them nervous. I do have faith that the police department is getting equipment that they've got to have to work with. And so while I have a little conflict with it, I'm going to support it.
Mr. Jackson, I do have a letter from him that describes it a little bit further if you'd like to do that.
All right. Well, I will look at that.
Mr. or Ms. Hill, any questions?
No.
Ms. Hill?
Sorry, I said no.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Give you a moment, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, you can, I'm
Okay.
going to support it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Jackson. Roll call, please.
Bibby?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Kirby?
Aye.
Resolution number 2242, been approved 5-0. Resolution 2243, award bid number 20-022 for small stream litter debris and trash collection devices and related services to Osprey Initiative, LLC. Mr. Booth?
Council President Bibby, Mayor, council members, I'm Charles Booth, the purchasing agent for the city. We solicited bids for the devices and Osprey Initiative was the only respondent. We recommend awarding them.
Is there anyone, is Pat here? You're here? Would you like to speak for it? Come on, Ms. Underwood, go ahead.
Permission to take my name?
You can, yes, ma'am.
My name is Donna Underwood. I live at 1210 Terre Haute Avenue, Southwest Decatur, and I'm here as a citizen of Decatur. I urge the council to approve the Osprey Initiative. This council has actively pursued improving Decatur in numerous ways, increasing jobs, increasing housing, attracting more business, improving our parks, our activities, and also essential services. I feel that a repeated theme of this council and the citizens of Decatur is that Decatur's appearance is important. Litter and trash around our city need to be addressed on the roadsides and in our waterways. Osprey Initiative addresses the litter that flows from our streets into our waterways. And education, as Mr. Kirby had mentioned one other time at a city council meeting, is very important. So education of our citizens needs to be part of litter and trash. And we need to do this in our schools. Also, Osprey Initiative has a proven track record of showing how much litter and trash is being funneled into our rivers and our little streams. Rye Branch Creek is a good example of that, a little creek that we have here. I have been on many litter and trash pickups in different locations throughout the city, and we as citizens need to step up and start picking up our trash. In closing, the city has recently endorsed the demolition of the old Express Oil building on 6th Avenue, yay, and it's turning it into hopefully a nice park to improve the appearance of our city as we drive down 6th Avenue. That is the main thoroughfare. What about the rest of our city? Okay? It's very important. The streams and the waterways get clogged with litter and trash, and when people come in to drive around our city, it looks like out of sight, out of mind, that we're only looking at the main thoroughfares. So, it is our responsibility as citizens of Decatur to keep our trash out of the waterways and streams that flow down the Tennessee River. So in closing, please fund Osprey Initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Underwood. Do I have a motion? Okay, thank you. Motion by Ms. Hill, second by Mr. Ard. Discussion.
Where's Herman? Did he?
He's on the phone.
Does this include the contract for the maintenance and the?
It does.
Okay. I will, where did, she's there. Mrs. Underwood is one of my constituents, and I support Osprey completely. I don't support the maintenance contract where they have to go out, and I just feel that we're paying them, and I think last year was like $25,000 a year. Am I? 30, more. 30,000, okay. My concern is that they say that they're the only ones who can collect the trash and do the maintenance on the equipment. It's hard for me to believe that we can't train our own people to do it. I'm in favor of the equipment. I'm in favor of the trash collection. You're exactly right. We need to do a better job as citizens to make sure that our city remains clean, and we should do a better job in our schools and from the very beginning. So we're in agreement throughout the entire process, other than the fact that I think that we could do a better job, or a less expensive job, I'll say, of making sure that the traps are cleaned. So I won't support this tonight simply because of that component of it. I do support the baskets and the process. I just don't support the fact that we can't maintain it ourselves, and I think that we can actually do that if we put our minds to it. So without paying $30,000 a year.
I'd like to add to that conversation if I could. And Ms. Underwood, Pat Underwood, I know your passion runs deep on this issue, and I appreciate it. I'm about 51-49 as far as how I feel on this issue. I'm going to support it tonight for reasons that I could easily vote against it. It's been the only plan presented to us, and I think other plans should be available. I've looked at the cost per ton analysis in this, and I don't like the numbers. But again, it's been the only plan presented. And in the past, I've asked the legislative delegation for some help and some ideas on toughening up the litter laws, and we've been abysmally poor as a community in thinking in those terms. So I'm going to support it reluctantly tonight, just because it's the only plan presented.
And I just want to add one more thing. Your son, Pat, has done absolutely outstanding job of bringing awareness to this issue. He really has. In our immediate neighborhood and throughout our city. So I don't want you to ever think that I don't support the initiative. I just don't support the upkeep and the maintenance of it. So that's kind of where I am.
Well, I appreciate that, and I want you all to realize I am here speaking as Donna Underwood.
Okay.
And not here speaking as Pat Underwood's mom.
Okay.
I'm speaking as for Donna Underwood.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Herman still is not here.
Herman's on the phone.
No, Herman's listening.
Okay, Herman, you're going to have to help me because Mr. Ard is not here. I'm going to yield the gavel, and I can't yield the gavel to Mr. Ard on the line because I'd like to speak on this issue. Who do I yield it to?
It doesn't.
Whoever you wish, you can do either.
You don't have to yield the gavel to
Well, I was
just
going
give your
to,
opinion.
well, by the laws of Robert's Rules of
Okay,
Order,
go
you
ahead.
should, so I will give it to Mr. Kirby. Thank you for this one thing. Pat, I'm sorry, Ms. Underwood, thank you for being here tonight. This is the, last year, we have employed them for a year. These are all of their tabulations and everything they have collected, every date, pictures, et cetera. And Mr. Jackson, I don't disagree with you. In fact, I spent personal time going down to Mobile when all this came to light. Mr. Shelton, Clint Shelton, brought it to our attention and went down there on my own dime and checked out what they had in Mobile. We were originally looking at a litter trap that was about $150,000 for the just apparatus. But once you put it in, it equaled about $750,000 to get in and working. So I came back and I relayed that to you guys, and then Clint went down to Mobile and met Mr. Mr. Don Bates, who owns Osprey. And I tell you what, this guy, and the reason that we can't build something like, he has a patent on this, and he requires his employees to clean out that, and, I get the whole patent thing. The cool thing, I think, is he employs local people to do it. In fact, Pat is not just a volunteer, he's an employee of Osprey. So Don comes up quite frequently, but he also works with local folks to help them get involved, but then employs them to go out, and I know Pat goes and cleans them out. In fact, Pat calls Charles and I quite a bit on some things he finds, which I really agree with that, and I think that's great. And Ms. Underwood, I agree with you that we as just citizens have got to do a much better job of being responsible for our own litter and picking it up. And Charles, we did actually the state upped the fine to $1,000. It was at $500 for littering. We have talked with the officers and chief about, that's part of the police have to do that. I know that's not like a real fun fine to give out, but until we start enforcing it, I don't know that people will really adhere to it. So I really like it. I think it's a great start. I think I've told Don some of my concerns. I would really like them in the schools. I would really like them more visible to the public. I would like them to have camps or things for the public so they understand what we actually have in our waterways, what happens, and get them more involved by just educating them and giving them the facts. And I hope to see that in the next year. And if that doesn't happen in the next year, I think we need to reevaluate. But I'd love to give him another year to show us what else he can do. So thank you for your time, and that's all I have, Mr. Kirby.
All right, Ms. Hill, any comments? Mr. Ard, any comments?
No.
Roll call.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2244, award bid number 20021 for help me say it.
Bituminous.
There you go. Bituminous. Thank you, Charles. Bituminous plant mix to Reed Contracting. This we're doing asphalt work. We'll just make it simple.
Yes, ma'am, this is one of our standing bids that is expiring, and we had to rebid, and we recommend the award for Reed Contracting out of the 2 responses that we got.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Jackson and a second by Mr. Ard. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2244 has been approved 5-0. Resolution 2245, award bid number 20-020 to replace the roof on the library to Alabama Roofing and Sheet Metal Company.
Yes, ma'am, we got received 8 responses on this bid, and Alabama Sheet Metal Company was the lowest at $118,575. We recommend the award.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion?
In behalf of the library folks, thank God.
Any other comments from council? Roll call.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2245 approved 5-0. Resolution 2246 appropriate 25% of the simplified seller's use tax to Decatur City School System.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, a second by Mr. Kirby. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2246 is approved 5-0. Resolution number 2247, Crossings Fund Tax Collection Designation Expiration.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Mr. Kirby. Herman, do you want to explain that, or do you just want to take a vote?
Basically, as y'all discussed before, that particular funding designation is going away, so it'll just become part of the general sales tax collection. That's what this just confirms that, so we have a record of it.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2247 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Resolution 2248, approved Decatur Historic Preservation Commission policies. Alan?
Yes, ma'am. The Historic Preservation Commission policies and procedures have not been updated in quite some time. So these will just be updated policies and procedures. One thing being that now that we have a historic preservationist, sort of that will funnel a lot of those responsibilities to her, but we just request your approval. And this was voted on by the Historic Preservation. They approved it in June. So we just asked for your approval.
Have a motion. Motion by Mrs. Hill. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ard. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2248, approved 5-0. Resolution 2249, accept sale of 2009 Pierce aerial ladder truck to Danville Volunteer Fire Department. Becky?
Yes, Becky Thompson, Purchasing Department. This is giving permission for Danville Volunteer Fire Department to purchase the 2009 ladder truck for the asking price of $225,000. And I just have to commend Chief Thornton and Chief Putman for their hard work in this matter. They've given great communication to everybody, and also Chief Stephen Vest. He's going to get a loan from Bank Independent in Hartselle, and I'll take care of all the paperwork and the sale documents.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ard. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2249 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Becky, thank you. You do a fabulous job at that. We are taking Resolution 2250 off. It is in the 2021 budget. Resolution 2251, request room in the Old State Bank to be named after Mark and Gay Maloney. Judge?
David Breland, I'm the director of the Old State Bank and the Depot Museum here. I would like to speak to this because we have Mark Maloney and First Lady of Rotary, Gay Maloney, here with us this evening. Mark is the immediate past president of Rotary International, and Gay is the immediate past First Lady of that organization. Perhaps there's never been a Decatur resident elected to a higher office than this. As such, Mark was an international ambassador for world peace, goodwill, and service to humanity. There are about 1.2 million Rotarians throughout the world, about 35,000 clubs in over 200 countries and geographic areas throughout the world. In essence, these are many of the world's most prominent business, professional, and political leaders. What we would like to do is to name a room at the Old State Bank. It's actually a room that we've used for kind of a research facility for the last several years, and we'd like to name that in their honor, to be called the Mark Daniel Maloney Room and the Gay Blackburn Maloney Room. Gay actually is the daughter of former Mayor Gilmer Blackburn.
Thank you.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Second by Mrs. Hill. And discussion. I think we have y'all. Why don't y'all go ahead and stand up? Good to have y'all tonight. Thank you for your service and everything you do and representing our city so well. Have a motion by Mr. Kirby and a second by Mrs. Hill. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2251 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Can't wait to see it, Judge.
If
Resolution.
I may, Mark, air shake, Gay, air hug, okay?
Thank y'all for doing it.
Resolution number 2252, remaining funds from the SOA Field Bathrooms Building to be used for irrigation building and renovations. Mr. Lake.
Thank you, council. We were blessed enough to have the Kiwanis and Senator Orr help build a really nice bathroom facility that is at the Spirit of America soccer fields at Point Mallard. The portion that the Kiwanis gave, there was a small amount left, well, $8,000, big amount to me, but I guess to some. And there's a building next to it that is a irrigation building, and this would help that building match the other building. So we just asked that we're able to use those funds for that purpose.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second by Mr. Jackson. We have a motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2252 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Before we get to the Point Mallard stuff, let's go back. Ms. Hill, Mr. Ard, have you had a chance to look at those pictures from resolution?
Yes.
Public
Thank
hearing.
you for sending it.
Yes, I have.
Okay, are we ready for a vote?
Yes.
Okay, we had an original motion by Mr. Kirby and a second by Mr. Ard, and this is on the abatement of unsafe conditions located at 2017 Morgan Avenue. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is a public hearing.
Well, yeah.
We've already given public, but if there's
Yeah.
anyone else from the public who'd like to speak, Mr. Mobies, is he still? Right.
Good.
Would you like to speak again, or? Okay. I declare this public hearing closed. Entertain a motion. Mr. Kirby and Mr. Ard is a second. Now we'll have the roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2197 is approved with a vote 5-0. We'll jump forward. Resolution 2253, approved short-term stay site plan at Point Mallard Campground. Stephanie, or Mr. Lake, whichever.
Council President, I'm Stephanie McLean. I'm the Point Mallard Park Manager. This is a resolution to create a short-term stay section at Point Mallard Campground, with short-term stay being defined as 1 day to 14 days. We are proposing to use A section of the campground, sites number 1 through 52.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Hill and a second by Mr. Ard. Discussion.
I guess we can talk about it now. My concern is, well, no, we'll hold off on that.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Are you hearing from the public now or later, or?
We only have one from the public.
Okay,
Let's go.
I'm sorry.
Would you like for the public
There's
speakers?
another page.
Henry Graham was for pre-zoning. Mr. Boykin went. Mr. Mobies went. We have
Good.
Lisa Winger. Did I pronounce that correctly? Okay, I'm sorry. If you will say your name and address, please, for the, thank you.
My name is Lisa Weiniger.
Sorry.
My permanent address is 53 Lisa Lane, Scottsboro, Alabama. My current address, because of work, is 2600C, Point Mallard Drive, Decatur, Alabama. I'm here to voice concerns of Point Mallard campers. I visited 10 campsites within 30 miles of Point Mallard. All but one of those 10 are adding sites to accommodate the increased demand for monthly sites. Monthly campers are guaranteed revenue to campgrounds. There appears to be an upward nationwide trend. I personally work in the RV industry, and I have personal experience of people that are changing their lifestyles, so that they can spend quality time with their families, so that they can visit places such as Point Mallard and have long-term stays there. There are families that are educating their children in campgrounds. Relocating monthly residents to C-section, which we all know is prone to flooding, as has been exemplified in the news, in the newspaper. It seems to be guaranteeing a loss of revenue and also displacing those of us that are there. You're guaranteed our revenue. And not just those of us that are there now. It fluctuates, people come and go. And our request is that you just consider not taking an entire section and putting it in a flood-prone section. No one stays in the very back of C in the winter because every rain, it's flooded. You can't get to your camper, you can't park. So possibly just amending, we are all in agreement that there needs to be short-term stay areas. Just amend that A is all short-term, because it's a large section, and it's easy to park, there is no flooding there. That's our request to you, is that you reconsider putting short-term in one section only. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, any discussion?
Are you addressing that?
Whatever
Oh,
you
I'm
want to
sorry.
do. That's just it for questions from council.
I did have a question of Ms. Waniger. How many places did you look at?
10.
Do you know how many of those were taxpayer-owned?
Not in the city of Decatur. I looked within a 30-mile radius.
But were any of those 10 that you looked at taxpayer-owned?
There were several that were taxpayer.
Okay. There's another issue that I looked at in general, and we've been getting complaints on the shortage of short-term spaces for years, but I know of several people who have sold their homes, bought the campers, and moved out there over the years. One thing that stood out to me consistent on those particular ones is they were giving up their, shall we call it, their homestead property tax, wherever they were living, to live at the campgrounds. And that angers a lot of residents in the area, that they're paying property taxes and the campers, in their eyes, were not. I'm not saying that life was fair, and I think those people are kind of caught in a sudden shift that's no fault of their own, but there has been a pretty large public backlash to the property tax issue.
Do I have, may I address that?
Yes, ma'am.
Most of us make a conscious choice. If it was due to hardship or any other circumstance, we wanted to have a leisure lifestyle. And as far as property tax, we do pay, not property tax, but we pay taxes in the city of Decatur. We shop here. We go to the movie here. We use the barbers and doctors here. We buy gas here, a lot of gas. So we are contributing to the economy of Decatur.
Thank you.
Did you want to address that? Just out of curiosity. Is there anything?
Well, I mean, as far as some of the things with that being said, I mean, did you guys have questions?
I
Do you
don't.
want me to?
I didn't know you were standing there, and I.
No, we had, where did he go? I don't see him. We had a gentleman who gave us this
Yeah.
earlier. There you are. I'm sorry, did you want to speak at all? If you don't, that's, go ahead. And if you'll just say your name and address, please, sir. Thank you. And I did, and Mrs. Hill and Mr. Art, I sent you a screenshot of this.
I did see it.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you have one, I laid it on it. Thank you. Yes, sir. Just your name and address.
My name is Terry Reynolds. My primary address is actually down in Pensacola Beach, Florida. I practiced optometry here for 40 years. I retired, thought I was going to move there, but I ended up not. I am bi-residential. I stay at the Point Mallard Campground about 6 months of the year. I'll come and stay 30 days, then I'll leave, and then I'll come back. But what I did, a couple of questions I have. For instance, Section A, you're exactly right. Section A is the premier section. Doesn't flood. Nice. Have a question. You're going to know this better than I. How many people are not served right now? And could we fill up to Section A, all 52 spaces, all the time?
I think as far as summer months, yes, sir, I think they would be closer to the same, the 90 to 95% rental. I mean, as far as the other, we don't really know that. That's not something we have a business plan.
Right. And so each of you have the data that I compiled. And my guess is that it would be maybe 50%, maybe? Would we fill 20?
We can guess all day long.
That's right. Yeah,
We can guess all day long.
yeah, but you should have an idea of how many people call and say, can I get a spot? And there's not a spot.
We know that we've never seen the top of the main curve.
Okay.
We know that we do not have enough inventory to see the top.
Okay, and so the numbers that I have, for instance, let me just tell you, the campsite's 233. Right now, we pay $548 a month. So, in theory, if this is completely filled, we've got $127,870 a month income, $1,534,000 a year possible if everything is filled. So that if we're going to do an increase, the proposed increase is 18%. That means that each campsite is going to pay $100 a month more. Not a big fee, but what that does, if we're going to take out those 52 campsites that are not really going to have a full income, we're going to go down in income. And the way that we've proposed to make up the difference is to make the people, or have the people that are there, increase $100 a month. Basically, that's pretty much the math.
I'm listening.
I mean, that's pretty much the math. That's the way I worked it out. You can see, that's the deal. Okay, so my thinking is, if we not increase 18%, if we increase 10% for all the people that are living there, that means that we go to $603 a month. Our total income is $109,000 a month, or $1.3 million for the year. And then our short-term stay campsites, 52. Now, 78% are still going to be full-time, 22% are going to be part-time. And then my thinking is, some way we can adjust that. Some way so that, let's suppose we go for 6 months and we have 10% occupancy in there and not 100%. Well, we'll need to make accommodations so we can fill up those spots, produce income. Somehow we do it, and I don't know the formula for that. You might know the formula for that. But my proposal, or my thought, if we go a 10% increase with the fees, and I've addressed two different things, I'm sorry. We were looking at the number of campsites.
That's good. I was trying to get Mr. Lake and Stephanie a copy of what you're sharing with us.
Yes, I've addressed two different topics.
Can they have a copy so they can kind of, do you have an extra copy?
Sure.
Thank you. It's hard to remember all those numbers.
And obviously, this is only numbers, estimations of what I think would probably happen. So my guess is, if we open up this area, my guess is, if we're lucky, it's going to be 50% full, if we're lucky. We just don't have that many people during that 120 days, May, June, July, August, 95% occupancy. The rest of the time, it's going to be empty. There's not going to be anybody there. It's gonna be smack dab empty. That's just the way it works. So, we gotta make up the income. We're gonna lose, $200,000 by not having that site, having those. So we need to figure out a way that we're going to make up that income. And I don't have that answer. I have a proposal, but I don't have that answer.
I think the 3 minutes is up. Did you?
Yes,
count?
3 minutes, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah. No worries. Thank you, Terry.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your numbers. I'll let council, anyone else go first if you'd like.
I don't.
Ms. Hill, Mr. Ard. Ms. Hill, Mr. Ard, any comment?
I have no comment.
Ms. Hill?
Hey, I'm here. Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
Oh, that's
Yeah, no, I don't have any comment, but I appreciate Mr. Reynolds sharing this with us.
Thank you. All righty. I'll address some of the questions. Actually, 8 is in a flood zone. I've been there. I literally have had water up to my waist. You can ask Jason and Stephanie. I was with them when I did it. It was only, what, a year and a half ago? Yeah. Waders didn't even work because it was so high it went over the waders. 8 does flood. It depends on the amount you get. And so that is, and I have the maps, it is in the flood zone, just like B and C. Now, B and C are lower, but A does flood, and I've seen it with my own eyes and went out to it. The second thing that I'd like to address, Mr. Reynolds, I do appreciate your numbers. Unfortunately, we don't know, like Mr. Lake said, camping has become so popular. You really don't know, you don't know unless you try something. If A would fill up with just campers, we have a lot of folks in town who really like the recreational part of camping. I don't know, you may be right. I have no idea. I don't know anybody in this room that has a crystal ball. I wish we did. So that is another issue. The other thing is, and most of you know this, we have a lease, 1969. This is actually the original lease from TVA, which I didn't count because it's like 19 pages long, but it says recreational use only, about 50 times. And that to me rings true, and it's still relevant today when TVA actually owns that land. They allow us to do anything, and you can ask Mr. Lake, if we put pebbles on the walking trail, we have to get their approval first, don't we? We can't do anything in that 500 acres without TVA's approval. It would be nice to add spaces. I understand that you said we should add because it's so popular. Again, we have a neighborhood that butts up right to that. You have 500 acres that are limited, and again, has to go through TVA before we even looked at even doing that possibility. They would have to approve that. So that is not on the table currently. It has been in the past.
Don't you also have to have Corps of Engineers approval?
Yeah, you have to have a lot of approval. And again, you would be in a flood zone. All of it is in a flood zone. Every bit of 500 acres of Point Mallard is. And the majority of the residential area of Point Mallard is in a flood zone too, which was new to me until 18 when we got our new flood maps. And I'm glad that everyone is, I guess, kind of let go of the 180-day thing because that is a federal law. We cannot bypass that. And so that is something we'll have to adhere to. I like the A section being for short-term campers. Number one, when you come in, it's the first thing you see. And number two, it's probably the nicest section. It was the original section out there. It has nice accommodations. And I think that's what people want to do these days. I mean, it's just a big thing. And so I think if you want to stay here 6 months out of the year, Mr. Reynolds, I think it's great. And I love to have you in Decatur. I saw you at Publix the other day. But I think also we have to make available those sites for others to enjoy. If you go back to the 80s, Jason and I have talked about it. I don't know if anybody remembers Bobby out there. Remember Bobby? Lady, and boy, she didn't take anything, did she?
That's right.
She had a rule, she took care of it. And so those rules back then were, everyone had to move every 2 weeks. You didn't stay at one campsite more than 2 weeks. And I understand back in 2008, I believe, or 7, when Mr. Dunlop took it over, some stipulations were given to him that I don't agree with. Don't think they should be with any employee, that you could lose your job if something doesn't make money. Things happen, like COVID, that you really can't change if you make money or not. And Mr. Lake, I'll say it again publicly, I've said it once, I don't want you to ever fear your job because of that. You shouldn't. No city employee should do that. And that's one thing that bothers me. City employees should not be put under that type of, not just you, anyone is a city employee. But, so I am going to actually stand by this tonight. I appreciate, I know it has not been easy, Stephanie and your employees, and that's one thing I don't like, in which your employees that have no dog in this race, they're doing that to make a paycheck, have been attacked verbally and feel, awkward being there, and that's shameful. They have my telephone number, and they have all 5 of our telephone numbers. They have your telephone number. You go out there. In fact, I was there yesterday. Anybody can come talk to me, and if they have a problem. But when you attack young people that are just working for a paycheck, that's a problem. So, and I apologize for that publicly for all those employees.
I had a couple of questions, if I may. There's sections, is it A, B, and C?
And there's a D.
Now, other than elevation, are they all essentially equal with the hookups and such, utilities and all that stuff?
All of the 233 sites have full hookups, so yes, sir.
Okay, so elevation and aesthetics are really the only differences?
As Paige stated, all of the area out there is in a flood zone, so.
Right, okay. Again, I have some empathy for the people who's been out there for a while.
Yes, sir.
They've been out there because we've been letting them.
Yes, sir.
That's not their fault per se. Have we got any kind of plan to try to help them at all?
Well, and that's the reason that we wanted to go ahead and bring the resolution and talk about it. We're asking, so that we can have time to work with our campers to get them moved into sites as they become available. And actually, we're talking about making the proposed plan of A section being short-term, but B, C, and D, once sites become available, we want to work with them to, if they choose to continue their stay with us, get them moved to another site. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like us to assist them in as many ways as we possibly can, because this isn't a one-sided issue. I mean, these are not bad people by
Yes, sir.
any
I agree.
means.
Any other comments from council? Ms. Hill, Mr. Ward? Alrighty, back to the resolution 2253. I had a motion by Mrs. Hill and a second by Mr. Ard. Mary, any other comments? Roll call.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Hill.
That's what.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2253 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Resolution number 2254, approval of rate increase regarding the Point Mallard Golf Course. Stephanie?
Yes, ma'am. This is a rate increase that we have proposed, both in daily rounds of golf, green fees, and also a little bit of an adjustment to our season or annual passes. As we kind of presented before, we have not done a rate increase since 2008 at the golf course. So these are more to put us back in line with some of the courses we feel like we're more comparable with.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Jackson. Discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2254 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Resolution number 2255, approval of rate increases regarding the Point Mallard Campground. Stephanie?
This, again, we look at our rates compared to other comparable campgrounds in the area and surrounding areas. We feel like this would put us more in line with those others to be more comparable with our rates.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ard. Motion by Mr. Kirby, second by Mr. Ard. Discussion?
I need to ask you a question. The rate, when I averaged all of the other comparables, was $495. The rate that we're proposing is $649.
Yes, sir. Does that include?
That's a significant difference. What's the difference there?
Some of those rates, which we compared and printed for council, have utilities included. So some of them do not. So I'm not sure which ones.
I think it's about half and half.
Yes, sir. Ours would include utilities.
You said would.
Would include, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And okay.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Oh, I'm sorry, you know what? You did want to speak on this one. I'm sorry, 1 second. Come on back. Again, your name and address, please.
Okay. Lisa Weiniger, 53 Lisa Lane, Scottsboro, Alabama, and 2600C Point Mallard Drive, Decatur, Alabama. I too I didn't realize that there was a list that you all had been given. Of those 10 that I mentioned early, all of them are all-inclusive with the exception of the largest campground in the state of Alabama. And their rate is $420 plus utilities. The highest campground that I called about was $500, all-inclusive. And by all-inclusive, if they're not, I'll tell you what they don't have. That is electric, water, sewer, garbage, and internet. The lowest of which is $365 for a monthly rate. Many of them give you a discount because you are monthly. I had 3 that came in at $400, 1 at $425, and 1 at $450. And then I have 1 that the rates differ online. Online it says $475, and I've been told verbally that it's $500. So all are under $500, and all are all-inclusive. Those of us that are monthly residents, we took the rate increase in 2019 after the flood. And no one really complained. Only 3 residents that I know of moved out. Again, the monthly revenue for the city of Decatur, for those of us that pay monthly, this is important to Decatur. It's all over the news. It was on the news last night about we need revenue. This is a wonderful revenue source without penalizing a certain group of people. And our request again is that you educate and inform yourself about what's going on in our surrounding area. Don't just make a decision based on what you've heard. Visit campgrounds, visit us, get to know us, and take these things into consideration before you make a vote that could have financial repercussions for years to come for the city of Decatur. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Moniker. Stephanie, you can address that. I have been to local campgrounds during this matter. I actually went to Jay's Landing, I guess we can say that, and actually went online. Their rates were about the same that you're adding to, is that correct?
Well, we looked at rates, and we did look at daily rates, weekly rates, and monthly rates across the board for those same type. And yes, ma'am, since you've mentioned that one, that would put us daily rate-wise more in line with those. Again, this also comes back to the area that Point Mallard is and what we do offer. We do offer a golf course, a water park, and those trails and things, you know, that our residents and campers alike enjoy. So we feel like this rate increase puts us more in line with comparable campgrounds.
I agree. I have a video. I don't mind showing you. I went to Jay's Landing, and they don't do the pop-ups at all. They don't do any outdoor furniture that you don't take. I mean, it's day and night as far as, and if you look at the aesthetics, we have the perfect atmosphere. We have the trees, we have the wooded area. Then I went and took another drive around Point Mallard, which I'm there at least weekly. So I don't want you to think, ma'am, that I mean, I've gone other places and looked intensely. I've been at Point Mallard almost every day for the last couple of months and lived here all my life. I just think we need to be in line with what is here in Decatur, which is, I mean, I've said it again, I'll say it again, Jay's Landing. I'm not giving them any advertising, but, you know. that's just
Stephanie, let me
where-
ask this, if
Yes,
I
sir.
may. Sounds to me like when you folks made your calls, what you found out is that not everything is a comparison apples versus apples. It might be apple versus orange or apple versus peach in some cases, the different amenities back and forth. So it sounds like it's very hard to do exact comparisons.
Well, I mean, and I'm going to say this, and I guess it sounds maybe a little bit like I'm bragging, because I am. We do have Point Mallard, and we do have those amenities that are right there at the fingertips. And, you know, for some of the comparable, like a Goose Pond or some of those others that have similar things, I do think the same way with some of the other ones you've mentioned. You know, when you look at our daily rate and their daily rate's almost $10 higher than ours, and they don't offer some of those same things. So again, you know, we tried to look at it comparative to other places that had those amenities that campers could enjoy.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I wasn't addressing the daily rate, I was addressing the monthly.
Yes, ma'am.
The largest increase.
And I'll just say, I fully understand what you're saying, and I do not disagree with an increase. But when I average out those where the electricity and utilities are included, we still come to 561 versus the 649 that we're going to. I don't know if I can, anyway, I don't know that I can support such an increase at one time. You know, I just don't know that I can do that, so that's where we are.
Now, if we do this increase, if it passes and we see an economic negative to it long-term, can we look at it again and readjust it?
Do you want to speak to that? We do analyze business in real time. So yes, sir, we will keep watching through this. And even, you know, kind of what we've talked to the campers about also, this is, you know, a plan that we're putting in place to try to create more tourism and have more campers come in. If we see that this plan doesn't work from a business standpoint, we're definitely going to bring it back to revisit. So yes, sir.
Thank you.
Follow up with what Dr. Reynolds said, what are you looking at that? What's
Sure.
staying for, how much is it staying for?
Absolutely.
I would expect you to, and thank you for doing that, both of you. Anything else from council? Ms. Hill, Mr. Ard?
No, ma'am.
Okay, resolution 2255, we have a motion by Mr. Kirby and a second by Mr. Ard. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard. Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2255 is approved with a vote of 4 to 1. Resolution 2257, approved purchase of 3 Chevrolet Tahoes for the fire department in the amount of $105,075 for the state contract, funding source, general unassigned fund balance. I'll get Tracy, I've been here a while. All right, chief.
Hey, it's Tracy Thornton with Decatur Fire. This resolution is just to get us 3 more Tahoes to help not only with the aging vehicles we have for our staff or admin people, but also we have some trailers at different stations that haul different things that we'll be able to put the older vehicles there to tow these trailers if we need them. We have a structural collapse, we have a trench trailer, a UTV trailer, our air refill station, so this will help us out a lot with that.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Kirby, do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 2257 is approved 5 to 0. Resolution number 2258, approval purchase for a Pac Mac loader truck in the amount of $151,628.77. Mr. Terry.
President Dean, council members, we thank this opportunity to bring before the council. This is the purchase of loader trucks from the international dealership across the river. The funding source will be the Alley Fund. This will replace one of 2 vehicles we have that are in excess of 20 years old.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby and a second by Mr. Jackson. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 20258 is approved 5-0. Resolution 20259, approved purchase of international garbage truck in the amount of $150. Mr. Terry.
That's evening, yes ma'am. I failed the Chelsea Public Water Guy. I'm Ricky Terry, Director of Street and Environmental Services. This again will replace 2 garbage trucks that are 2006, 2004 models. The funding source of the general fund unsigned balance. They're going to take about 7 to 9 months. We hope we speed that up by the council approving this tonight.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Mr. Kirby. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 20259 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Resolution 20260, purchase of 1 international garbage truck, the amount not to exceed $235,882.45. Mr. Terry.
Yes, ma'am. Again, this is a vehicle that's replacing an old vehicle we have, a 2006 or 2004. It's being bought off the state contract, and so we request approval.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Mr. Kirby. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 20260 is approved with a vote of 5-0. Resolution 20262, authorize the purchase of 1 Pac Mac loader truck in the amount of $151,628.77. Mr. Terry.
Yes, ma'am. Again, as we mentioned earlier, this is replacing one excess of 20 years old that's bought off with contract as well. Just so the general public can know, y'all, as well, that's 18 to 20% discount off. We just bid it out as we normally do.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kirby, discussion. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Resolution 20262 is approved with a vote of 5-0. We've already finished Resolution 2263. Ordinance's first reading, ordinance number 24424, authorizing the insurance of a $5 million revolving line of credit for the Municipal Utilities Board. And ordinance number 24425 declares surplus of sale of 208 Church Street Northwest. We have one more order of business. I'm going to take a 5-minute recess. I have to ask John something before we address that. I'm sorry, I'll just take just a moment. I need to clarify. Ms. Hill asked also. Be right back.
Did we say that 208 has already been demolished? It's just a lot now. When did we get that down?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. It's been some time ago.
Really?
It's just because it's actually, I think the way that we got it was because of, we demolished it.
The church is going to take it.
It's not the,
We got a 5-minute recess.
I was thinking the church, Saint
Mute it is what he's.
St. Paul's, the church over on Wilson Street, is going to take the lot, is going to take that lot, correct?
but it's not the one, I don't think it's directly behind.
It's not directly behind it, it's next to the corner house. It's the White House. It used to be the White House, I guess. But I didn't think that thing had been down for any significant amount of time.
I'll look, but
It doesn't matter, it's gone. I mean, but I just got a call
It's past John's bed.
yesterday about that house, and I was thinking that it was, when I went through not too very, and I've known the house for years, but I just wondered when we took it down, because
I'll look and call you.
well, it doesn't matter.
Well,
I mean, it's
I
gone.
will, because I probably should know that, and I don't.
It doesn't matter. I mean, if it's gone, it's gone. I mean, I didn't think it was gone yet, because the way that the neighbor called and they were like, "So what are we gonna do about this house?" And I was like, you know, it's going away, but I didn't realize that it was already gone away.
Let me check. 'Cause
Okay.
Anything that I say is just.
Guess what?
Suzanne, are y'all requesting immediate consideration?
It's just, it'll be guessing at this
Ma'am?
point.
Okay, good deal.
Y'all gonna request immediate consideration?
No.
Okay. Good to know.
And I'm wondering what's for dinner.
We're good? I can go home now?
Yeah, you can.
Do I have to come back tomorrow?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you could always come back to revenue.
If you want to wait and come in later, I guess you can, since you was here.
I'm wondering what Teddy cooked. The appropriations. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go through each and every one of them and see what we got.
Last order of business, we've had our business meeting, we started at 1 this afternoon. We will now be attending to the appropriations. John?
So currently, we're at a situation where expenses exceed revenue by $46,420. What I'd like to do is go down and confirm by vote the numbers for the appropriation. Start off Carnegie Visual Arts Center, FY20 budget at $18,000, the request in '21 was $40,000. We entered into the budget a initial level of 18, that was revised to 17,000.
Okay, we're going to take these one by one, and we're going to vote. So to have a motion to vote on the Carnegie.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Ardo, have a second. Have a second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hill. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
No.
Appropriations at 17 for the Carnegie is a 3-2 vote. Next, John, thank you.
Next one is Community Action Partnership Foster Grandparents. FY '20 budget at 7,200. The '21 request was 20,000. The initial in the budget for '21 was 7,200, and we are currently at 7,200.
Did we ever discuss, and this is what Ms. Duke said, that they are only in the schools? I think that to your question.
We did. We
Okay,
did.
just making sure. Okay?
So are we not, is that not going into the school systems?
That is correct. It is not going into the school system.
Since they were not.
In the school.
In the school this year, they did not feel like they wanted to fund that, so. And I assume they're at the uncertainty of knowing at what point they can bring that operation back in.
Okay. I guess we need to get a motion or something to get it on the floor before we discuss it, but are we voting on that one then?
Yeah, we're gonna do individual.
Okay, I mean,
Or
okay.
we can discuss to table, whichever.
I'll put a motion.
Do I have a motion?
I'll second it to get on the table.
Who was the first? Was it Ms.
Hill.
Christie.
Motion by Ms. Hill, a second by Mr. Jackson. Okay, discussion.
So I guess my question is that if it's only in the school system and they're not gonna fund it out of the allocation that's going to them, why are we funding that at all? I mean, that's what I can't figure out, because if
Well,
it's,
especially if they weren't able to do it this year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's
So
only
we
in the.
need to just zero that out and let the school system take care of that next year.
I guess, since they consider it falls under community action, that would be my only thought. But I did speak to Ms. Duke, and they will not, and Mr. Satterfield, they will not be doing that in the schools this year.
So does that affect any of the other monies we discussed through the school system and/or including the library?
No, from the get-go that John and I had that discussion, they
So
did
this
not
is simply
want to.
7.2 thousand, either out of the city or out of the schools, one way or the other?
It won't be out of the schools because they declined, since
Okay.
they will not be having them in this
It's
year.
us or nobody.
And is there actually a program if there was?
If it's not in the schools, is there actually a usage for this money?
It's the uncertainty that creates this issue. If we didn't have COVID, it'd be a program in the school, we'd probably be funding it.
But in effect, it would be coming out of their portion of the, we would fund it and just send less across the street
Possibly. When it was brought up with them, their comment was, we're not doing it.
this year.
And that was the end of this discussion, so.
Okay, when they say that we're not doing it, just for
This
clarity's
year.
sake, this year?
This year.
Okay, all right.
So it's only 7.2 thousand, and it can be adjusted yay or nay later, one way or the other.
Yeah, I would think, once COVID is over in the school system, depending on what the rules will be on visitors inside the schools after that, that would be something that they in community action should work out.
And what I'm saying is, I don't know if it's wrong if we say yes, and I don't know if it's wrong if we say no. Because if we say yes and they don't use it,
The only thing that I'm concerned with, and this is just for public record for the Decatur Daily or whatever to print, is I don't want our seniors and our seniors who work in this program to think that we're not funding this now. Because, I mean, they all know that they're at home and they know that they're not going to the schools and they're not working in the program right now. I think there's an intent to fund this in the future, absolutely. I just think that now it's zeroed out. So I don't want them to get the impression that the city and the schools aren't going to bring us back. I think that's important for them to understand that. But at this particular point, I would suggest that we zero it out. And if we have to amend it later, then we come back and we amend that at the appropriate time.
I agree with that, Mr. Jackson. I don't
I second that.
want anyone to think that we're taking it away, but there is no program
Yeah,
currently because of the
yeah,
virus.
Yeah.
so Christie, is that amending your motion at zero amount?
Yes.
Okay.
Billy?
Do you second?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Saying that it's not a lack of support of the program, but the fact that the program is not being currently utilized.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good thought there.
Okay. May I have a roll call, please?
Okay. Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
5-0. to zero that out until such time that it is back in the school system and come back to council at that time. Next.
Okay, next one's Meals on Wheels, FY20 budget $14,227. The 21 request was $20,000. The initial funding level was $14,227, and after revisions, it remained at $14,227.
I make a motion at that amount.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Kirby, have a second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Meals on Wheels stays at 14,227.50. John?
Next one, Community Free Clinic, FY20 budget was $59,280. The 21 request was $59,280. The 21 budgeted number was $59,280. And after revisions, it was raised to $75,000.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Mr. Kirby. Any discussion?
So this increase is a one-time,
Yes.
correct? Or is this just going to be like a discussion with the next administration?
Every number is a one-time.
Yeah, I think all of these are one-time, and the next council will have to consider what they want to do, so they're all one-time, basically.
I get that, but I know the pressure is always there because it's like, well, the previous council did 75. Well, it's kind of also maybe warranted because of the season we're in.
Well, Chuck, this is Pat. Chuck kind of broke things down initially. I can't remember all the categories, but he looked at economic development, medical needs, healthcare, and medical recreation. I can't remember all these broken. And so it was to increase this, but I guess while it would be very warranted to increase it under the circumstances, doing it level funding at 59,280 is good these days.
I mean, I agree with that early on. I just didn't see how we were cutting our budget and then being able to give increases to others, even though I know they probably need it, but I mean, we do too for other services.
Well, the way I understood it, the motion was at 75, and the conversation we held previously is they have more needs right now because of the COVID.
Well, our county hospital will take care of COVID, not the free health clinic. I believe they'll take care of other needs for sure. And I don't want to take anything away from what Mr. Art was trying to do. That was very admirable. But now we're in a point to where we've increased the budget significantly, $370,000. So now we're trying to find a way to make things work. And so level funding, that's what I hope that you'll consider here.
Actually, John, I think we'd worked it out to about 40 something. It wasn't 300 at all, right?
We're now down to 33.
30, actually, it's down to 33, 39,225. Is that you, Chuck?
The three areas of the appropriations, the mental health, the free clinic, and the health department, if I'm not mistaken, the additions that we did there were about $35,000. Above what we had funded last year.
And our deficit is still 46.
About 38,000 more on those three.
38,000 more, Chuck.
Was it 38,000?
Yes, and they were originally budgeted.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, the one thing that I think we're forced to consider is that we've got a deficit of 40-something thousand, and that's 38,000 of it.
Wait 1 second. What do you have as the deficit right now, John?
39,220.
39,220.
And if you look at those three increases, then that's 38, that's pretty much all.
I agree.
I'm the one that suggested that, I mean, I agree with the increases, it's just that I think we're gonna have, that holding people at level funding is really an increase because of the fact that our budget went down.
And what you did was admirable, so thank you.
I'm not finished. I mean, so.
Okay, we're still, we're
So
gonna
so
take a
your
vote.
motion,
Yeah,
your
the
motion was at
motion was-
75, right?
It was actually exactly
Yeah.
37,216 was the increases.
37,
So it
216.
gets us within like 2,000.
Okay. The motion again was to up the the free clinic from the 59, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, John, to 75,000. There was a motion by Mr. Jackson and a second by Mr. Kirby. Any more discussion?
So this motion is for the 75K?
It is, that was what Mr. Jackson, his
I
motion was.
thought y'all were gonna take it from 75 back to level funding at 59 to 280.
No, sir, that's not what Mr. Jackson's motion
That's not my
was.
motion.
Okay, let's vote.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Bibby,
Aye.
Art,
No,
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
No,
Kirby.
Aye.
3-2.
Community Free Clinic is 75,000, 3-2. Next, John.
Next one is the senior center. 20 budget is 51,000, the 21 request was 55,000. They were held at 51,000 in the budget. It was revised to 48,000, and then we had a discussion earlier in the day where we cut it to 24,000. So it's 24,000 right now.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by
tell me
Mr.
what it is again?
24,000.
Senior Center.
Okay, that's what I thought, just want to be sure.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, second by Mr. Jackson. Jackson, discussion. And the reason for that, John, I think we've said it in the early afternoon discussion, the Senior Center has been closed since the 19th of March, and still not any idea on when they will be opening back up. So the last year's allocation of, what was last year's, John?
51,000.
51,000. If they closed in March, then they would certainly have some of that allocation still left. And considering probably not until 2021 will they reopen, that was the reduction. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Bibby,
Aye.
Art, Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Senior Center is at 24. And I will say, can come back if they open up in the, that's just, okay, next.
Library 20 budget was 441,936. The request was the same amount, the budgeted amount was the same amount. And the revised is the same amount, except it's split between the city and the school, with the city funding 377,936, and the school picking up 64,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, second by Mr. Jackson. Discussion. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Art, Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Library at 377 plus the schools part, we'll get them to level funding. Next, John?
Decatur Symphony, 20 budget 13.5, 21 request 15. The budgeted number was 13.5, and that is another school item that's funded at 15.
Do we need to vote on that one? Since that
Yes.
is part, okay.
Well, unless you, I mean, it's in the budget, but since we're doing it, we might as well do it this way. So
But
that we-
since we've already given the school their 25%,
Well, you voted on, yeah, I mean,
But it comes off of our balance sheet, correct?
it's
Essentially.
part of the school fund budget.
Yeah, that's
That
correct.
expense.
That's, okay.
So when you approve that, it's gonna be in there.
Okay.
So you could either approve it here to confirm that we are doing what you intend to do.
Herman, are you still on the line?
Herman?
I'm here.
Okay.
Is John got us going down the right track here? I'm guessing he does.
Yeah, I would, if I heard you correctly, go ahead and vote on it, so that way you've got a record of it, you got it for school, so that's what I would do, vote.
All righty, do I have a motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, a second by Mr. Jackson. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Bibby?
Aye.
Ard? Ard?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Kirby?
Aye.
That one 15, coming out of the schools portion. Next, John.
Next one is the Chamber of Commerce Business Development.
Like to
20
make,
budget was 50,000, their 21 request is 50,000, they were budgeted for 21 at 50,000, and revised budget was 47,500.
I'd like to make a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Jackson made a motion. Mr. Ard, I'll make you the second of the action. Any-
Well, I was making a motion that we.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A different motion, so if he's made a motion, I'll stay with
Okay.
that. I can't support,
Okay.
I won't support
Mr.
this
Jackson
motion.
is going to draw back his motion. Mr. Ard has a motion for the funding for Chamber 47.5. Do I have a second?
I think Ms. Hill did.
Ms. Hill, so I have a motion by Mr. Ard, second by Ms. Hill. Any discussion?
I would have to say here that I'm in a position I don't want to be. And we had a comment by the chamber that they were not going to get involved in elections, yet one of their main people, one of their leaders, who doesn't live in Decatur and whose business is not in Decatur, led a lot of outside the city influence in these elections. And until they fix that problem, I'm forced to vote no on this.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby?
I'm going to abstain because of pending ethic complaints.
Ard?
Aye.
Jackson?
No.
Hill?
Aye.
Kirby?
No.
Hill.
That is a 2-2 with one abstention. Does not pass, is that correct?
Correct.
Next, John.
I have a number? Do we have a counter, or what do I do? Give me some direction, what do I do? Is it
You got a zero amount there.
Yeah,
It's zero.
my position would be zero.
It's zero.
I'm abstaining, so.
Seven. Okay.
Next.
Just for your info, we are now in the black by $8,280.
Could you please repeat that? I couldn't hear anything that's been said.
We're in the black, 8,280.
280.
How is that?
Because that amount's zero.
That, the chamber.
That has to be voted on.
What has to be voted on?
The zero amount.
It didn't pass.
The amount motion failed.
What we said was that the motion did not pass at 47.5. If somebody's going to make a motion to zero amount, that's got to be voted on.
Herman?
Well, yeah, I'm here, it would be at zero. If somebody wants to make a motion, somebody needs to make a motion as to, if they want to change any amount that's going to be given. The other one just failed at 47.15.
Yes,
So I
sir.
would say if you would want to make a motion to clarify any appropriation, that's what I would do.
Anyone would like to
Yeah,
make a motion to change that appropriation?
Yeah, but it doesn't, the dollar amount doesn't matter if, I mean, Charles and Billy Bird, if they can't support it and pay, abstain.
Well, I don't know whether they'll support a zero or not.
I will support a zero.
We have to have a
But
motion.
then if you vote on a zero and then they vote against a zero, then you're going back and forth.
So I.
When it failed, it automatically went to zero because
That's
you
right.
failed to fund it.
That's exactly.
Once it failed, there is no appropriation at this point. That's correct.
Thank you, Herman, for your clarification. Chuck, anything there? Do you want to, I don't know, make a motion, do something else, or?
No.
Okay, next.
Next one is the Decatur Morgan County Tourism. We're really not looking at a number there, it's a percentage. So unless you have an intention to change the 64.3%, we'll just go to the next one.
Move as presented.
Okay?
Have a motion by Mr. Kirby, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bibby.
Aye.
Art. Art.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Tourism 64.3% stays the same, 5-0. Next.
Decatur Downtown Redevelopment Authority, 20 budget was 74,100. They requested 100,000. The 21 budget was at 74,1, and the revised budget, it remained at 74,1.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Mrs. Hill. Discussion. Ms. Hill, are you going to address this, or am I about the DU request?
Well, I don't know I mean, do we need to say anything about it? I mean, I think Rick and Ray have already determined that dollar amount. I just didn't know if we needed to.
I don't think that dollar amount is what they actually need, what DDRA agreed to. Decatur Utilities would like to put 2 rapid electric charging stations downtown, 2nd Avenue area. I think it was originally in the back of the Princess, but we're looking at more of a now more visible so people can see it and have more access to it. That is about $20,000. DU asked to split that with the city. When I was approached about it, I said we didn't have money to split it, but to me that is a downtown addition, which would fall under downtown redevelopment. And that for me, I think that our split of that 10,000 should come out of the DDRA to go to those 2 rapid stations. But that's just my thought.
Well, I think Christie's technically correct there. We don't have an actual written request in front of us for that money. So that decision can be made later as far as us giving any money. As far as I'm concerned, that could be DDRA money, and that's all we have to decide right now is what that actual appropriation is.
Well, I guess I thought the last I had heard, and I guess I spoke to Rick a couple of days ago, is he had talked with Ray, and they were come up with a dollar amount. I don't know if it was the 10,000, but
The last I heard it was 1,000.
It was 20 for 2, was the last I saw.
I'm sorry, it was what?
20,000 for 2.
Right, but DDRA's portion, Christie, the last I heard from DU was $1,000 commitment from DDRA.
yeah, I heard a $1,500.
We can stay out of that for now and let them hash it out, can't we?
That's what I was gonna do.
Well, in my opinion, what you're gonna have is.
Because Ray said they were gonna do it regardless.
Oh, well, okay, I didn't hear it that way, so.
Yeah,
Maybe
the
that's
last
true.
time they wanted to do it, but they wanted to ask the city to do it with them. And they thought it was something that would be beneficial, and I do agree that, well, maybe it's something DDRA could help you with.
Okay, well, that's fine. Oh, we have a motion from Mr. Jackson, second from Ms. Hill for 74,000. Is that correct?
74,1.
74,1. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Bibby.
Yeah, aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Okay, 5-0 for the 7401 to DDRA. Next.
Next one's the E-Center, 20 budget's 100,000, their request for 21 was 155. They were initially funded at 100,000, and after revisions, they remained at 100,000. We got a discussion about an additional 100,000 for Best and Brightest. We're gonna use economic development money out of water for resale to fund that 100,000, so we're just focusing now on the 100,000 for the E-Center, unless you have a problem with the 100,000 going to water for resale.
I think we should deal with this regular 100,000 here and later at the end, deal with the other 100.
I agree.
That's fine with me. I need a motion, please, for the E-Center.
Motion.
Motion by Mrs. Hill, second by Mr. Ard. Now discussion. I don't know that we were voting on the water for resale right now anyway, were we, John?
Nope, this is
That's
just
the
straight
100.
first 100.
Gotcha. E-Center. I have a motion by Mrs. Hill, second by Mr. Ard. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bibby.
Hey, this is Tab. This is Tab. Essentially, we're talking about $200,000 here for economic development. And I don't think there's a person on this call that doesn't favor that. But whenever you come down and you look at the Morgan County Economic Development Association, and they're really driving the train and putting big numbers on the board.
The E-Center or EDA?
EDA, Chris.
We're not on EDA right now.
I
If I get one more text from somebody advocating for the EDA, I'm going to scream. Can we please have a vote on the E-Center for $100,000?
Well, but I believe all I'm asking is that you make sure that you're looking at the whole picture here and who's generating the jobs for our area and the big expense.
Well, I'm not sure that you're going to have any negative votes on either one of those, but now you may. But nevertheless, we have a motion by Mrs. Hill and a second by Mr. Ard. Roll call.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
E-Center at $100,000, 5-0. Next, please.
Hudson Alpha, the 20 budget was 15,000, they requested 20,000. We budgeted 15,000 initially, during the revision it went to 7,500, and then subsequent discussion zeroed that out.
I make the motion at 0.
Motion, Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ard. Any discussion? I agree with the zeroing out. I hope it down the future, when COVID is not a problem, this is revisited. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
5-0. That will be zeroed out. Next, John.
Mental Health Center, 20 budget of 20,000, 21 request of 30,000. The 21 initial budget was at 20,000, the revision raised it to 30,000.
And that was suggested by Chuck, if I'm not mistaken.
I have a motion for $30,000 for the mental health.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Jackson, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hill?
Yes?
Was that, did you have a discussion?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, I'm sorry, we just heard someone. Roll call, please.
Bibby.
Aye.
Ard.
No.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
No.
Kirby.
Aye.
Mental health at $30,000, 3-2. Next.
The Morgan County Child Advocacy, the budget for 20 was 21,000, their request was 21,000, initial budgeting was 21,000, and that is a school item at 21,000.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Jackson. This is a school allocation for $21,000 out of their 25%. Discussion? Roll call?
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard. Jackson.
Aye.
Hill. Kirby.
Aye.
Child advocacy, $21,000 in school, 5-0. Next.
Morgan County Economic Development Association, budget at $64,900. Their 21 request was $90,000. The initial 21 budget number was $64,900, and it was revised to $61,000.
And that was
So
another,
moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ard, a second by Mrs. Hill. Discussion.
and that was another one of those that Chuck recommended the final amount.
Well, I think it was a 5% decrease because.
Right,
yes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
3-2. Next.
4-1.
I'm sorry.
Morgan County
Isn't it
Emergency.
4-1?
No, you and Mr. Kirby were no's.
No, I was a yes.
He was
Oh,
aye.
I'm so sorry. I
He was
thought you were
aye.
no.
I'm sorry, I didn't
No.
catch that.
I'm sorry. 4-1. Next, John.
Morgan County Emergency Management, the 20 budget was $32,053. They requested $74,277. The initial 21 budget number was $35,000. In the revision, it was changed to $17,500. Discussions earlier in the day, that got zeroed out.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Second.
Ms. Hill, second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
5-0 on the zeroing out of EMA. Next.
Morgan County Health Department, 20 budget of 108,504. Their 21 request was 120. Their budget for 21 was set at 108,504. It was revised to 120.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. Aye.
Hill.
No.
Kirby.
Aye.
Health Department to the 120, 4-1. Next.
Morgan County Rescue Squad, 20 budget was 10,800. Their request for 21 was 15,000. Initial budgeted at 15,000, and after revision, it was kept at 15,000.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Kirby with the motion, Mr. Ard with the second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
The Rescue Squad at 15K, 5-0. Next, John.
NARCOG, 20 budget of 135, their 21 request was 150. They were funded at 135, and after revision, it was kept at 135,000.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jackson. Discussion? Only discussion I would have is, we've had the discussion in the earlier meetings. Mr. Jackson, I would ask that you
I'm
work
going to
with
reach
that.
out
Yes, thank you.
to them tomorrow.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
NARCOG stays at 135, 5-0. Next.
Princess Theater, 20 budget was 80,000. There was an 8,000 one-time for financial review. Their 21 request was 120. The initial budget was 72,000, and that was revised to 68,500.
I'll move, motion at that amount.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Ard. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Versus there at 68, 5-0. Next, John.
Prior field, 20 budget was 40,000, included a one-time 10,000 charge. 21 request was 40, the budgeted amount was 30, and after revisions, it was kept at 30.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second to Mr. Kirby's motion?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Prior field, 30,000, 5-0. Next.
Volunteer Center, 20 budget of 7,200, 21 request of 7,200. The initial budget for 21 was 7,200 and was revised to 6,800.
I make the motion at that amount.
Motion by Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ard. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Volunteer Center at 6,800, 5-0. Next.
Orchestra Sul Ponticello Decatur, the 20 budget was 0, they requested 20. Initial budget was 0, and the revision kept it at 0.
Motion at that amount.
Do I have a second? Mr. Ard, was that you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Second by Mr. Ard. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Next.
Decatur Morgan Chamber of Commerce, the partnership 5-year plan, 20 budget of 50,000, 21 request of 50,000, 21 budget of 50,000, and after revision was kept at 50,000.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Hill and Mr. Ard is a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Abstaining because of the reason before.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
No.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
No.
That is 2-2 with one abstention, and that zeroes that out. Next.
Hands Across Decatur, FY '20 budget was 0, there were 21 requests was 20,000, 21 budget is 0, and after revision it stayed at 0.
Motion at that amount.
Have a second.
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 Motion by Mr. Kirby, second by Mr. Jackson, and any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
Next.
Last one, Boys and Girls Club, 20 budget was 0, the request for 21 was 100,000. We funded it at 0, but it was the 100,000 part of the school.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kirby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hill. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Ard,
Aye.
Jackson,
No.
Hill,
Aye.
Kirby.
Aye.
4-1. Anything else?
I have one other item.
Yes.
We have an opportunity to do a rate adjustment on 2 of the bonds that we have. And all that is an adjustment of the rate, with no change in the time that the bond gets paid off.
It's going to reduce our payment, though.
We have 2 opportunities. You can reduce the payment, or there is a present value calculation where you're paid the present value. We can discuss this, and my point is not to get your approval, other than to say, we do not have an agreement right now, because we had that agreement with Joe Jolly, and there was supposed to be discussion, so we never proceeded. This opportunity to do the rate adjustment is coming from Fraser Lanier, and so absent of any formal, we would just like to proceed with Fraser Lanier to do this rate adjustment, and we'll come back with all the particulars and everything else. It's just that we don't have any agreements anywhere to proceed.
Herman, let me ask a question before we get a motion. Now, Mr. Jolly, about a year ago, I believe, we asked him to come to council. He was going on vacation. Has he reached out to come to council since that time?
He has not, but he has not.
Okay.
My fear, though, is that we're going to be going to negotiated bids versus competitive if we go with Fraser. And Joe Jolly, we've always done competitive bids, and I think that it's going to be impossible for us to come out with a better rate. I mean, when you negotiate it, you can get a good rate, but it's impossible, I think, to get the best possible rate. And that's what concerns me in this entire matter.
But it doesn't really apply to this.
It doesn't apply to this matter. And I guess, are you asking us to vote on this today, or are you just going to give us the information?
I'm just letting you know that we're going to proceed with Fraser Lanier to do the rate adjustments, and then when we have the particulars with the exact numbers and everything else, because it's a timing thing. Every month you wait, the numbers change and everything else. So we will come back and say, okay, this is the proposal from Fraser Lanier, and then you'll either accept it or reject it. And if you accept it, your two options are to reduce your payments over time or to take the cash out at a net present value. And with the rates that they use for net present value, they're around 1 to 1.5%. There's not much of a difference in terms of total savings versus your net present value.
Is there any idea what the cash out is going to be on that?
Well, here's the tricky part. Those bonds are paid by multiple funds. It's not just general fund. It's just, I believe the sewer fund is one, and it's and so we would have to go back and prorate that back, so it doesn't go all back to the general fund, but the total amount to be realized is somewhere between $600,000 and $700,000.
Okay.
And that's the cash out value.
Motion for you to negotiate with our support with Fraser Lanier.
Herman, do we need a motion and a vote for that?
Yeah, that's what you need to do, just authorize John to negotiate and bring back a proposal to y'all to review and approve.
I didn't hear what Mr. Ard said. What did he say prior to that? Mr. Ard said?
He asked if we needed a motion for that. Okay, let's go back. I'm sorry, I was talking to Mr. Jackson. Mr. Ard, did you make the motion?
Yes, and
Okay.
Hill seconded.
And Ms. Hill had the second? And this is for John to negotiate with Fraser Lanier for this bond. Okay?
And this is, you're just bringing a proposal back to us, that's all you're doing?
Yes, sir. I have the preliminary information, but it's not the final information. I'll give you an idea of, and this was discussed at the finance committee level, and they recommended moving forward, and that's why we're bringing it to you now. It's just that, again, the lack of the relationship forces me to have this discussion with you that, hey, we're going to do this with Fraser Lanier.
And you need this direction prior to our next meeting.
Well, it's more informative than it is direction. Where I'm going to need direction and a decision is when I can bring you the final numbers.
So I guess my question would be, have you had similar conversations with Mr. Jolly regarding reduced rates and things of that nature?
A rate adjustment? No, Jolly never brought us any rate adjustments.
Okay.
Any other discussion? The motion on the floor is to let John work out a proposal from Frazier and Lanier for this bond proposal. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bibby,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
I'm
Jackson,
going to abstain on this one
Hill,
until we get more information.
Aye.
and Kirby.
I will also abstain.
Okay, 3-0 with 2 abstentions.
Did you want to vote on the best and brightest tonight?
Okay.
Or you want to vote on the...
Okay, let me let John, okay, go ahead, John.
Do you want to vote on the best and brightest coming from the...
These are just
line-
appropriations, Chuck, not what would be in the budget.
I would vote it in the budget unless somebody has an objection, and you can vote on it when you vote on the smaller one.
We did discuss earlier that we would decide on it separately down the list. I do know we had that
Whatever your
conversation.
pleasure.
They're 2 separate line items. There's the Eastern,
Right.
which we've already voted on, and Best and Brightest is a different. I thought we discussed earlier, that would come out of the water usage fund? And that is,
Yeah, but we had 2 allocations that didn't even pass, so there's some funds right there for best and brightest.
but that's only gonna
But
get
we
us,
also.
we have to get to,
allocations that came out of the school money, so I think we need to vote on that coming out of the water money.
we can do that. I thought tonight we were only doing the appropriations.
Okay, you could do one of 2
I thought
things.
this was
I
appropriate.
thought it was an appropriation page.
No.
It's, when we left it this afternoon, it was coming out of the budget. Not of the appropriations line, but of the budget of water usage rate.
Okay, so we'll be on the next agenda then?
Y'all can make a motion for whichever y'all would like.
But let her know that John said, no, it's not an appropriation.
John just said, no, it is not an
Water
appropriation.
for resale is Fund...
Okay, that's fine.
Fund 32. That gets voted with all the other smaller budgets, Point Mallard, landfill, the gas taxes, they're all in that file. If you go to that
That's fine.
file...
I just wanted to clarify, I think Chuck did too. So thank you for doing so.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you look at what I sent you on these smaller budgets, when you look at water for resale, you're gonna see anticipated revenue of $215,000 with no expenses. What we'll do is we will add an expense of best and brightest to that, so you will see $215,000 and $100,000 expense, unless you tell me otherwise. And then when you
Yeah, that's fine.
vote,
I will call Phoenix.
and then when you vote to approve that budget, that's it.
And I will confirm for the
Clear, that wasn't clear this afternoon, I'm sorry.
Not a problem.
And I would like to, just to verify, I'm not sure if Mr. McAnally had sent me this text, as far as the sewer out on Upper River, that is completely paid for except for $2,803 left for them to close out that account. So that will add, I'm sorry, $600,000 to
$400,000
that.
to $600,000.
Okay, so that water usage is healthy fund. Okay. Would y'all, do y'all want to vote, I mean, is that okay with Art and Hill?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think it wasn't clear and now it is, so thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do
Yes, ma'am.
I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.